Surrency is our superintendent of schools. Rick Surrency's with us.
Thank you.
And I understand you're headed south this week.
Yeah, we're having a school board meeting tonight of all nights. Usually have it a Tuesday afternoon. We're having a rare Monday night meeting in Crescent City at the town hall. And we're trying to be sensitive to the fair. Tomorrow night is, of course, the hog competition. So we want to make sure that, we don't pull people away from that. But at 7 o'clock at the town hall. And then our next meeting will be in Interlochen in 2 weeks at night. So we're trying to be sensitive to different areas of the county, different times of the evening.
Yeah, it's a good thing to try to get parents to come out at night. The rain's not going to help you tonight, but you can't help that.
Right.
You can't plan around Mother Nature.
That's right.
So just grab your umbrella and come on out anyway.
Yep, we'll be there.
And see what's good. So tell me what's happening.
Well, I know everybody's read in the news, and there's been a lot of talk about safety in schools, and that's our number one concern. Always is. We want to make sure our kids are safe. And as you know, the Parkland shooting on February 14th really got us to re-examining things we're doing here in Putnam County. And Sheriff Deloach and I have talked a number of times since then and have talked about possibility of arming school personnel to better protect our children and our staff, but more importantly, just to serve as a deterrent to anyone who might think about harming our schools.
Well, you have to stop and think about it. All the shootings have happened in a gun-free zone.
Right.
And had it not been for somebody with the church shooting outside the building that realized what was happening, that would have gotten worse because he was headed to another church. So, sometimes deterrent is the best answer to all of it. And you and I have talked about this because my concern was the background check on the people that were going to be allowed to go through this program. And from everything I have found out from talking to you, talking to the sheriff, talking to the deputies, that the background check will be every bit as deep as theirs is.
Yeah, I mean, these people, these guardians or special deputies, will be deputies. I mean, they will have to go through a lot of the same background check as any deputy. So yeah.
They'll have the psychological profiles done, they'll have the background checks done. Psychological profile is a big thing. Now, we know what happened in Parkland, and I just pray that it doesn't happen here. A lot of what happened down there was everything fell through the cracks. Found out they released the information over the weekend that that they had suggested that he had be put or brought in under Baker Act, and it fell through the crack.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where we stand on the mental health side of it in this county, because that's, I truly believe it's not a gun problem. It's a society problem.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and the Guardian program we're talking about is not a one fixed deal.
No.
It is one piece of the puzzle, and like you said, the mental health aspects, and we are getting additional funding from the state to help us provide resources. But these kids, we have to be able to identify kids who are having issues and provide them community resources.
And by the time a teacher's had them in the class half a year, they can pretty much tell you how that child's going to turn out.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate they peg them that early, and there's not always a place to get them into the right program, and that's the biggest problem. And I don't know how you answer that. I don't think there is an answer to that, other than the fact that kids have to talk to the adults, and they did that.
Yeah.
And the adults kind of talked up, but it kept falling in cracks, and those are the cracks we have to seal up.
Yeah, there's a lot of signs, social media, just a variety of signs that are sent out that we need to pick up on. And, and again, that's one piece of the puzzle, hardening our schools, making sure facility-wise that people just can't walk in off the street without being challenged.
What'd he do? Pick the time of day they opened the doors?
Right.
But, that was just such a rare case.
He knew the routine.
He went to the school, he knew the routines, he knew where the people were going to be, and turned around and walked out with the students because he looked like them.
The number one deterrent we have is if you see something, say something.
And
Kids will let us know. Right.
And we just, as adults and school people and police and mental health people, they've all got to communicate this and figure out a way not to drop these people in the crack.
Right.
And try to help them.
Yeah, we're trying to make our schools not like a Fort Knox. We want our schools to be.
I don't want them to feel like that either.
Right. We don't want them to feel like they're walking into a military base and that type of thing. we want it to be warm and welcoming and a good learning atmosphere. So there's a balance we're trying to reach there.
Yeah, and mental health is such a big, and it's always been a problem in Putnam County because we haven't had the facility to do what we needed to do. So I hope that some of this will bring some of that money back to rural counties so we can get what we need to help.
Yeah, I mean, we need it. I mean, children and adults need services.
Yes, they do.
And we've got to be able to find these services within our community. These people are hard to find too, so we need to be able to attract people to our county who are trained to do that too. I mean, we have that, but we also need additional help
Oh,
too.
we need additional help. There's no doubt about that. And the counselors that we have at school are so busy doing paperwork, they don't have time to counsel.
Right. And you know, our teachers, it's not always up to the counselor. It's always up to all school personnel.
It's everybody. It's coaches. It's teachers. It's the guy in the hallway watching. You know, it's the student. Do they still have student hall monitors? Do they
Not,
still do that?
not really.
I was going to show we're showing our age. You know, but we used to have an idea if you did that. Who was wandering in the hall and who was doing what they shouldn't be doing. My senior year, I took student hall for some, you know, and I took all my classes before I was a senior, so I got to play my senior year. But I had to be at school, but so I had, you know, all the fun stuff.
Well, I always say every student needs one adult, whether it's a teacher, counselor, custodian,
Somebody they can talk to.
somebody they can talk to, and if they have an issue,
If it's the
they can
lunchroom
talk to them.
lady,
Right.
because they pick up on stuff. I
Right.
know some women that were lunchroom, and they could pick up on body language. You know, you get a lot from body language. You know, you got stuff going on, and as a parent, you kind of, if you're paying attention to your kids, you know when there's a problem.
You know, kids will talk to people in school before they talk to their own parents.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
we need to be there for them. And when we see those signs, we need to be able to act quickly to make sure we address their concerns.
And get these kids saved before it's too late.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about, is making sure the kids, or whoever is headed that path, that they get them off of that path into another direction.
But you know, I always say, you know, number one concern is keeping our kids safe, but we are still about learning and, you know, moving our district forward, giving kids opportunities to graduate on time,
And
get jobs.
Still want them to be kids.
Right.
Not have to grow up so fast. They still need to have kids and have prom and dances and do all the fun stuff that goes with being a high school kid.
You know, these graduates now have known nothing but school shootings and that type of thing their
And-
entire life.
And we would have gone, what? You
Right.
know, it just didn't happen.
So it's a different society. As there was a TV show last week that I was welcome to attend, and I was very honored to be there. It's called Generation Under Fire, and this entire generation has known nothing but, you know, feeling that constant threat. So
And see, in my mind, I go back to thinking, you know, maybe we wouldn't have had this if they had had my dad's belt and gotten attention at an early age about right and wrong.
yeah, it's complicated.
It is.
We don't want to point fingers.
No, you can't. It's society and everything that goes with it, and society's always changing.
Schools are a reflection of society, and we really need to take a look at what our kids are seeing, you know, what they're exposed to, and it's a good time to come back and reflect on what we as a community can do to make sure our kids are safe and, you know, not exposed to a lot of evil out there in the world.
Yeah, and don't wait and send your kids to school to get taught manners.
I agree with that.
You know, if you've got young kids at home, teach them manners while you got them at home.
Yeah, yes sir, no ma'am, and all that.
Yeah, how to be respectful.
Yeah.
And I have some friends that teach, and that's one of the biggest problems they have is lack of respect in the classroom.
Yeah.
So let's teach them some of that at home. That's parents' issue, not the schools. So what else do we have going on?
Well, again, I want to stress people who have questions or concerns about anything we're doing, especially in the southern part of the county. This is a great opportunity to come out and provide public comments for our school board. And it'll be in Crescent City, like I said before, at 7 o'clock. And there's a lot of good things going on. By the way, our Palatka High boys basketball team went to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Came up a little short, but
Hey, we got there.
hey, congratulations. They represented Putnam County well. We're going to be honoring them along with our Palatka High wrestling team at our school board meeting, I believe, in May.
I don't know how you keep up with that.
Me neither. It's either the last one in April or the first one in May. But any schools who have championship level competition, we want to make sure we recognize them.
This week, if you go to the fair, you'll see some of the best of Putnam County out there as they're showing off their 4-H projects, their FFA projects, or things that they've put in the fair. You'll see the best of the best out there this week also. These are the kids that work after school, at night, do things, and a lot of them have jobs plus do this. So we get to recognize them as they go into sales and showmanship and what they've learned.
Man, the skills they're learning from doing that will be with them for the rest of their life.
You know, it's like they say, if you teach a kid to fish or teach a kid to grow something, they'll eat the rest of their lives.
Yeah, right.
And I would love to see them go back to teaching gardening in elementary, how to grow a garden.
Our Putnam County, the people on the fair board are doing a wonderful job and just providing that opportunity, and the fairgrounds have improved so much out there.
Oh, can you remember the years that we were in mud out there? And now everything's paved and it's really nice and all of that. So
It's a great time for our county, and I urge everyone to come out and support it.
yeah, today there's a lot of fingers crossed that they're weighing animals in.
Yeah.
So the kids are in school. I don't know why my alarm keeps going off on my telephone, but it just told me it was 8 o'clock and it's time for us to wrap up.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
We're always glad to have you come into the studio and tell us what's going on and let me pick at you a little bit, and like I always do. But come back and see us in 2 weeks.
We'll do it.
That's the way it is.
Good seeing you, Susan.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.